Logan, are you ready? Yep. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
I hereby declare the Candioi County Board of Commissioners in session. I would like to ask everyone if you please stand as we say the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome here. And first, I would like to call, or no, I do this every time. I would skip over the bills and the minutes. Yeah, we got to pay the bills. Commissioners, you all, the program is we all got copies in our Dropbox of the warrants and the bills. Is there any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move on the bills, Mr. Chair.
A motion by Commissioner Emdak and a second by Commissioner Nissen. Any further comments? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, passed unanimously. You also received copies of the minutes from our last meeting on April 6th. Any corrections or additions? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve. Commissioner Gardner.
I'll so move.
A motion by Commissioner Gardner to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
By Commissioner Anderson. Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passed unanimously. Okay, now I can move on to Mr. Odens, our Public Works Director, and you got some bids for us.
Yeah, we got a busy morning right now. We've got 4 bid openings that we're going to be doing, and for the benefit of the board, what our recommendation is 2 of the bids we would like to award today, and 2 of the bids we will award at the next meeting.
Okay.
So the ones with federal money in it get awarded at the next meeting, and then the other 2 we'd award today. Hopefully before this meeting's over. If not, it might be at Road and Bridge, which is at 1 o'clock.
Yes,
So
that's
our
a
goal
good-
is to do it before this meeting is this morning.
All right.
So
Thank you.
with that, we're going to start on County Road 2, the bridge project up by Regal. We got 1 bid.
One bid.
Oh.
See.
And Robert R. Schroeder of Glenwood, Minnesota. His bid is $918,025.23. 918,025.23.
Way over there.
Who was that again?
Robert R. Schroeder
Okay.
from Glenwood.
Nobody else wanted that?
The next one is going to be our federal edge line striping, grooved in edge line striping. That's project SP 034070012. The first bid is AAA Striping out of St. Michael, Minnesota. Their bid is $172,907.09. 172,907.09. The next one is Century Fence out of Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Their bid is
Wait a minute.
That's not on this.
No.
Okay. What's it called again?
Century Fence Company.
Fence company.
And where are they out of?
Pewaukee, Wisconsin. It's PEWAUKEC, I believe.
Okay.
Their bid is $214,733.46. 214,733.46. The next one is Traffic Marking Services out of Maple Lake, Minnesota. Their bid is $189,033. 189,000.33. Oh, and that concludes the three for them.
Okay.
Oh, why does this? Okay, so the next one is County Road 1 through Prenzburg. It's SAP 034-601-037. The first bid is Central Specialties out of Alexandria, Minnesota. Their bid is $1,854,641 and no cents. 1,854,641.00. And the next one is Donick Incorporated out of Prenzburg. $1,374,443.75. 1,374,443.75. That concludes the bids for County Road 1 through Prenzburg. What do we have? So our last one is County Road 16, SAP 034-616-002. We've got 7 bidders for that, so have the pen ready. First one is Central Specialties Incorporated out of Alexandria, Minnesota. Their bid is $256,250 and no cents. 256,250.00. The next one is Donick Incorporated out of Prenzburg. Their bid is $255,230 and no cents. 255,230.00. The next one is Hooley Excavating out of Little Falls, Minnesota. Their bid is $168,752.50. 168,752.50. Next is Land Pride Construction out of Paynesville. Their bid is $199,809.80. 199,809.80. The next one is Landwehr Construction out of St. Cloud. Their bid is $208,420 and no cents. 208,420 420.00. The next one is Midwest Contracting out of Marshall. Their bid is $199,594 and no cents. 199,594.00. And the last one is RNG Construction out of Marshall. Their bid is $230,756 and no cents. 230,756.00. That completes the 4 bids for this morning. So, Mr. Chair, once again, our goal is to get the County Road 1 Prinsburg job awarded today, as well as the ones we just opened on County Road 16. So,
Okay. All right,
stay tuned.
thank you, Mr. Odens. I would also like to thank all the bidders that you took your time, and we greatly, greatly appreciate your bidding. I also want the bidders who might be live streaming this as well. Thank you for your time and effort, and we greatly value these options that we have. Thank you.
Just,
Okay, and I'd like to call on Mr. Odens again. On the next agenda item, the project award for the SP 034608.
Mr. Chair, this is the federal project from the city of Canyon High north up to Spicer. And we always award the federal projects at the next meeting,
Okay,
if it's pretty straightforward. So this project is, we reviewed the bids. The bids were under contract, and it's all set to go. So the bids were opened on April 6th, and it's our recommendation to award the project to Dunick Incorporated out of Prinsburg in the amount of $1,045,000 and $1,045,037.25. And you should have a summary in your packet for that.
yep, I'm looking at it right now. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we accept the Dunnix to do this project, SP 034608-027.
Okay,
I'll
motion.
second that.
A motion by Commissioner Anderson to accept this, a second by Commissioner Amdax. Any other questions or comments? I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass unanimously. Thank you.
Chair, I just have a question.
Please proceed.
On the bidding, we had 7 bids for one bridge and 1 bid way over engineer's estimate for the other one. Is that because that's going to be a detour and there's some stipulations on that first bridge south of Howick?
The first bridge south of Howick is in a river. And I think it might deter your smaller contractors because of, sheet piling and a little more involved. There's old abutments that are concrete abutments that need to be removed per the environmental. And so it's a little bit larger of a project. And then you're also subject to a little more water fluctuation probably. So
The other thing I wanted to say is it's too bad that Sir Lines-A-Lot doesn't get a
That's-
bid once in a while because that's the most creative name for a strike.
that's our own maintenance folks. No.
Okay, thank you.
But on another note, the County Road 16 job is a good job because it's a gravel road.
Okay.
It's in a ditch and, it's out in the middle, more of a rural setting. And so
Less
less,
trouble.
yeah. But nonetheless, that bridge is posted way down. So that bridge it's a very important bridge. It's just that it might not have quite the other impacts, paving and just,
Could I ask a question,
Yes,
Commissioner?
please proceed.
On that one on CASA 16, when is that going to be done? I had a call on that. The guy was wondering when.
You know, I'll get back to you on that. I
Okay.
know that, I should say no, we wanted to get it done basically as soon as possible because of the condition of the bridge and the impact to the surrounding area for farming.
Okay.
And we'll have our pre-construction meeting, but normally those go relatively quick.
Okay.
And so if we can get them in there, you know, yeah.
Okay.
But we don't specifically, we put an end date usually because we don't want to pinch them too tight because we don't want to get the bids too high. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So the next item is final payment and acceptance of SAP 34-640-019. That is the eastern end of County Road 40, northeast of Green Lake. And Dunick Incorporated was the contractor, is the contractor. And so it's our recommendation to accept the project and authorize final payment in the amount of $62,233.34. And the project went very well.
I will make that motion.
A motion by Commissioner Nissen to approve final payment and acceptance. Do I have a second?
I'll second
A
that.
second by Commissioner Emdek. Any further questions or comments? Mr. Odens? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passed unanimously. Well, thank you. You've had a big morning already starting, and you got all afternoon yet to spend time with us.
How many more bids do we got in the next couple weeks?
No, this is it. Yep. We're,
Good.
44. We didn't do 44. I think we might have one more.
Okay.
To sign these? Please return. Okay.
Yeah, no, we have one.
Okay. Didn't mean to put you on the spot, sorry.
Okay. Moving on with the agenda, I'd like to call on Kathy Peterson, please, from the Auditor Treasurer's Office. And you have, I believe, one liquor license renewal.
Yep, the last liquor license renewal we have for this year is Glacial Ridge Hospitality. They currently have a 3-2 license that goes for $100, and they have a wine strong beer for $125. I'm looking for requesting approval of that.
And they've completed all the information they needed to
Yep.
proceed with that. And,
Yep.
and you're recommending that they meet the criteria that there is to move to that next level of a wine and beer license. Okay. Any other questions or comments from any of the commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I'd like the record to reflect that I will abstain from discussion and voting on this matter.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Emdek. Mr. Gardner.
Mr. Chair, I will move approval of the license.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Gardner to approve the liquor license. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
A second by Commissioner Nissen. Any further questions or comments of Kathy Peterson? None. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Pass unanimously.
Thank you.
One abstention.
Yeah.
Pass unanimously of the 4 votes with 1 abstention. Thank you. That's good for the record. Next, Administrator Kleindahl, you have a resolution, number 2021-22.
Mr. Chair, members of the public, honored to be before you today, ask for a resolution 2021-22 for the Prairie Pothole Conservation Association, the 38th Annual Prairie Pothole Days. I'm hoping that we can reconvene this great event. We took a 1-year hiatus. This is a great event. I would ask that the county board approve this year permit for this year event.
Mr. Chair, I would move on resolution 2021-22, thank you.
A motion by Commissioner Endek to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Commissioner Gardner. Questions or comments? We approved it 37 times so far. This would be number
Yes.
38. Okay. If
And
no-
it was, Mr. Chair, for me, it was kind of ironic and maybe fortuitous that last year there was a little bit of challenge of who was going to take this over. There's kind of a changing of the guard going on over there. And with COVID taking place last year, it might have been, just a good time to take a breath and a pause and get themselves reorganized. And I can speak from personal experience that that's a very nice day when the weather is nice. There's a lot of people down there and enjoying a lot of family fun.
All right. No other questions or comments? I'll call for the votes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass unanimously. We are moving way ahead on things. I am looking at the agenda, unless there's any objection. We'll probably take a short recess because we're going to be moving through this. We're going to have several recesses today, way the agenda happens. And at this point, I'll take a 10-minute recess and return here in 10 minutes, please.
You're on.
I hereby call the Candiac County Board of Commissioners back in session. At this point on the agenda, I'd like to call Val Savor, County Assessor. Would you please come forward? And looks like on the agenda, you have a discussion about abatement for one person?
Yes,
Or family?
good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners.
Good morning.
I have an abatement request for, it's Maria Serrano. They had a home fire October 7th, and the abatement policy is that you can claim an abatement for the first full month past the fire and then to the end of the year. And the house has been removed now, so as of the first of the year, our assessment records show the house is gone. So we would just have an abatement request for the 2 months, November and December, after the fire, which was occurred on October 7th. The abatement, it's not a big abatement, but it's $135 that would go towards their taxes. So they're required to pay the taxes on the first 10 months, and then they would get this credit for the last 2 months. And then as of January 2nd, or for the tax year, they would get the full bill, but this would go towards the 2 months that they were unable to live in their home. So my request would be for $135 for the abatement request for this home fire.
Okay. Commissioners,
Also move.
a motion by Commissioner Gardner to approve this abatement,
I'll second it.
and a second by Commissioner Nissen. Any further questions or comments? It's very unfortunate, and I'm glad we're making these moves. I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
All right, thank you very much.
Now I'd like to call on Eric Van Dyken, zoning administrator. And you have a couple requests, if I remember seeing our Dropbox and reading.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Eric Van Dyken, zoning administrator. I have before you 2 requests for action from the April 12th Planning Commission meeting. The first is a request for a conditional use permit for T&T truck and trailer repair. This would be located in the old, maybe some of you know it as the Tree and Turf building up County Road 9, north of Wilmer Auto. What they request is essentially a mechanic and repair shop, and then also there would be some off-street truck parking. So if you have a semi and you live in town and you're out of hours, et cetera, you're taking time off or it's a weekend or whatever, you don't have to park in town on the street or something, but you have a place to park off the road. So that would be the request. The Planning Commission did unanimously recommend approval with 9 attached conditions and findings 1 through 8.
Okay.
Is that
Commissioner Nissen?
where the one of the Kuzmans built kind of a little rental area for various businesses? Is that the same?
So it's just south of there. You may, for a while, the business, there was a business to build some ice fishing houses there. That came through for approval probably 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And that business has since dissolved, I believe. And so it's in that building.
Oh,
All right.
I didn't know that. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Do I have a motion, please?
So move, Mr. Chair.
A motion by-
And conditions, and I would just say, if this feels like deja vu, we approved a very, very similar one for over by Haug Equipment here in that neighborhood about a month ago.
Yeah, that was just
Yes.
1 month ago.
Okay, that's right. Something that's very familiar. All right, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? A second by Commissioner Gardner. Any further questions or comments? I will call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass unanimously. Thank you.
The second request is a rezone or a zoning amendment request. This would have the effect of rezoning a piece of property near Lake Calhoun. It's second-tier land, so it's across the road on East Calhoun Road. And it's property that's not been used agriculturally for many, many years. I think they used to get some hay off it years ago, but it's not a piece of prime agricultural ground or anything. And the applicant is requesting to rezone it into a residential district from the resource management district that it is now. That would allow for some lot development there. It sounds like there's quite a few people in the neighborhood that would like to perhaps put up a storage building or a guest house or some things like that. So that's his end goal there, but the request at this point would be to rezone. The planning commission did unanimously recommend approval with findings as you see in the minutes.
Okay, any questions or comments? Reading through it, I saw that there was several neighbors, individuals very supportive of this movement. Was there any negative comments that you know of?
We did not receive any either at the hearing or prior to the hearing in my email or phone.
Okay, no further questions. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Commissioner Nissen. Do I have a second by Commissioner Anderson? And I will call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass unanimously. Well, thank you very much for
Thank
both
you.
of them. And at this point, Mr. Kleindahl?
Yeah, so I'll give you an administrative update. We're still working on the American Rescue Plan, just trying to figure out what the rules are. Have had several meetings with AMC and our County Administrative Association. The U.S. Treasury still hasn't released all the rules and guidelines to the state of Minnesota even. And so we're still trying to figure that out. So I've been getting questions about what are we going to be using these dollars for and what should we be doing this? And all I can tell you is that as soon as I get some direction, I will keep you informed. I'll keep you updated. You know, I know when we had our work session last time, we talked about using a lot of those dollars for broadband if we can to try to get broadband across the entire rural area of the county. And the last mile, not just the first mile and not the cherry pick stuff. We want to cover the hard to reach areas. So we're still working on that. The state legislators is still working on stuff. I'm hoping as you get the information from AMC, you continue to look at those. A lot of times those come on Monday mornings of the things that are coming up. You'll notice that there's a couple interesting bills in our packets yesterday regarding continuing of waivers for health and human services. So how we can meet with some clients and give us some leeway instead of driving 3 hours to see a child. Maybe we can do some of those meetings by Zoom and maybe have even better contact with some of those kids if they're placed long ways away. Or how can we meet with some of our most vulnerable citizens and stuff, and how we can do some of that work. And so we're continuing to work on that. We're finding that some things we learned with COVID we'd like to continue. And of course, there's some legislative bills to do that. There's also some legislative bills regarding the American Rescue Plan dollars and some of their other rainy day fund funding that they want to help with other businesses and stuff. That came out yesterday. We're trying to figure what does that mean. Again, how much can we take on? Again, it's another process. So watching that. And I encourage you, if you see something, let me know, because I try to watch everything, but there's so much coming at this time of year. There's so many bills that go through. A lot of times, right now they've been having marathon hearings, and so I don't catch everything that's going on. I try to, but if you hear something, please let me know.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Emdek.
One of the things that doesn't directly affect us is the ruling on pipelines.
Right.
But indirectly, the dark store issue is kind of almost a part of that ruling, which affects counties all over the state of Minnesota. And so that's something that we should be paying attention to, because it really affects our tax revenue collection ability when these stores are, and maybe Larry can explain
Sure.
what the
Yes.
dark store issue is.
Oftentimes,
Should have had Val do it.
those big box stores will claim that their valuation is higher, and they use it, especially in rural Minnesota, it's the whole nation, but we in rural Minnesota tend to be fighting this more about their assessed value, and they can continue to drag it out. And it's very expensive for local units of government. As soon as we almost get it settled, they refile again. One of the issues that Mr. Emdike brought up that's very important, it affects 13 counties in northern Minnesota, but it has an impact on us as well. We've had future issues like that with gas pipelines. They're assessed by the state of Minnesota. If they challenge their assessment value for property, and it usually takes years for that to happen, local units of government, counties have to pay that money back if in tax court if they lose them. We don't assess them, but we end up paying that money back, and that's the challenge that you see at AMC with the Everbridge pipeline and stuff.
Yeah, if you can, Mr. Chair.
Yes, but
If
please
you can
proceed.
imagine this, Red Lake County would have to pay back $7 million for something that essentially the state perhaps could be argued messed up a little bit. So instead of the state paying it back, it's on the back of Red Lake County. That is as much as their entire budget is in a year's time. And of course, you know, the dark store thing will affect us too in different ways, but broader.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Thompson has information about a previous gas
Well,
line.
Mr. Chair and members, we just reimbursed CenterPoint Energy, kind of a shoot-off from this. I mean, you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah, and that affects not only the county, the school districts, the townships, cities, yeah, and normally I don't bring those to you because they're tax court ordered. We have to pay them. Maybe you would like to be informed, and I can sure pass that on to you how much it was. I mean, I'm thinking, my memory is CenterPoint Energy, we just reimbursed them, and again, this is for everybody, not just the county, but about $140,000. Part of that's for the county, parts for the school district, whatever city, township these parcels are in. Again, the county takes the majority of the hit on that. Usually our tax rate's the highest.
Thank you for the update.
So please watch that in your legislative bills. They look like small things, and you think, well, it's 13 counties, it doesn't affect us. All those things have ripple effects on all counties.
Well, there's something, and Mr. Kleindahl, yeah, there's something in the paper about this a while ago, too. I remember my wife saying, hey, you better pay attention to that. Well, I didn't, but now I will. Thank you.
Moving on, we're continuing to look at board software, board minute and board agenda software. Our committee has met, and now we're in the process of making the decision. It's a close call whether we should move forward. It basically will affect how we do agendas, how the departments heads submit their agenda items, and then the software that we use, how you guys get the information prior to the board meetings. We already have a pretty good system with our drop boxes and an agenda process, but is there a better way that the public would be able to see them? And that's our discussion. We're trying to evaluate, is there really that much of a change in impact? Also, with Kathy retiring, it was an opportunity to say, should we be doing our board minutes different? You know, our board minutes process, is there a better way of doing it? Kathy and Mark spend a lot of time here taking minutes, and then they go back and type up the minutes, gets them approved. So there might not be a better way, but our job is anytime we have a change coming up to look at what our process is, and so we're doing that. And I think we have a good committee looking at that.
It always looks great to have different options and check those out. Is there a way to give some kind of a demonstration to the board sometime?
Yeah, the hard part is we've been using other counties as demonstrators, and it's been difficult to get those. It's easier if it could be in person, a Zoom demonstration on this year kind of software. The first 5 minutes are okay, but after that, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, unless, you know, we've looked at a few of them. Possibly, I think you've kind of narrowed it down to maybe one that is more preferred than others. Maybe that you could show them.
Right now,
see what they think.
the one that, we have two that are on our we're really looking at seriously. The one that it's probably in the lead is the same one that Yellow Medicine County is using. It's a split screen, and the commissioners really like a split screen to follow, so it's easier for commissioners when they're having their meetings to be able to see what's on the side, but also be able to read and be able to go back and forth. So, so we're taking what other commissioners are saying. So we're working on that yet, and I think I've been trying to keep you in the loop. Yesterday, our committee for the remote work policy met for the first time and sat and looked at over a dozen different counties and state remote work policies, and kind of put out a wish list of what we need to have or what we would like to have to put together. So to inform you, we have started that process. But with everybody in the room and different needs and wants, it's going to be a process, but we'll get there. I want to also inform you that I received a notice from Kim Lindahl that she will be retiring on July 2nd. So along with that retirement then, like anything else, I always keep talking, we look at what the structure should be. Currently, we have a director and an assistant director. That model's been working good. Should we keep that model? Should we keep that model and put it under another department? And so those are things we can, that I'm kind of vetting out right now. One of the things that we look at is we could keep the same model now and with the plan of transitioning after COVID. Right now, it's a difficult time with everything we're doing. You transform a department in the middle of a crisis, and sometimes they always say, don't pass up on a good crisis, to make things happen. So again, I get, it's another thing that's on our plate that we're looking at. So, Mr. Chair, that's all I have for now.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kleindahl. And I would like now to move on to our agenda. Any appointments from anybody for any committees that you know of? Not? All right, thank you. And calendars, anything on your calendars you want to share with somebody else? Otherwise, I'm going to ask for committee reports and,
Calendar-wise,
oh, yes.
Prairie Woods Environmental Learning Center is having a Earth Day deal coming up this Saturday. Starts at, well, they want us there by noon, the volunteers.
Okay.
And there's going to be an auction of used equipment, hiking boots. There's a canoe, I think, and a couple of other items that are there, and some clothing, stuff like that. So,
Okay. So this Saturday at noon at Prairie Lakes.
I think the event actually starts at 1.
1, okay.
They used to have a chili meal there, but I don't think they're going to be doing that this year. So.
All right, thank you. I will proceed now and ask you that you give any committee reports if you wish. When I start at the end of the table, you're looking at me, Commissioner Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just briefly wanted to give a update regarding Humane Society. The final count was about $24,000 received from their virtual Save Our Tails event. Their net is very comparable to the live event, last live event that they had. So there will probably be some discussion about what form the event should take going forward. Of course, that's always something that many of us have enjoyed going to over the years pre-COVID, and a great time, the live auction, all of that. But they're going to look at demands on staff to see if perhaps they'll continue with this virtual model in the future. Their fencing repair project is going to move forward. They received the requisite funded need dollars from their Facebook fundraiser, and that'll be happening hopefully this spring. Their existing van is on its last legs, and now they're looking for a cargo van this time around. Primarily, they need the space inside. They've sometimes taken up to 2 dozen or so crates of animals to various other shelters and rescues and brought other animals back as well, and they need something, frankly, that can be hosed out if, if necessary as well. And of course, these types of things are not cheap, and they're also looking hopefully for something with front wheel or all-wheel drive, a little safer, especially when you're looking at volunteer drivers utilizing that equipment. So they're looking for some assistance in funding this item. Call Casey at the shelter if you have any ideas. They're probably looking in the range of $14,000 to $20,000 just for a good used van at this point in time. So that board is still working on it. We'll be meeting on Thursday, and there'll be further discussion. And that's all I have today.
Okay. Commissioner Nissen?
Okay, well, we had two meetings, one with the Hawk Creek Association and the other with the Hawk Creek Policy Committee for the One Watershed, One Plan. They're still working on the One Watershed, One Plan, putting it all together. They're a little behind, so they had to ask for an extension, but they're confident that they will finish within the realm of that extension. So more to come on that. EDC, Joint Powers Board and Joint Operations Board met and approved the hiring of Sarah Swedberg, if I got that right? Yeah. And the other item on that agenda was to sign Connie Schmoll up as a contractor to help us through the broadband situation for the next year or so, especially since we're going for a grant. Cayuga County Historical Society, a number of things. We have had a estimate for adding a small addition to the research area of the Historical Society, and we happen to have the architect, and I senior moment here, can't think of his name right now. Van Inge, Richard Van Inge, it gave us an estimate, and I don't recall the number, but it's not a small number, but it's not overwhelming either. So we're still working on that. And any of you that are members of the Historical Society, or for the general public, we are going to host the Stingers are going to host us for our Hall of Fame presentation. Every year we have a local baseball athletes from town teams and so forth are honored in the Hall of Fame, and the Stingers provide a venue for us to celebrate that at a game. So if you're a member, you can get a free ticket they say up to 35, but if we get more than that, they'll honor that. The families of the nominees will all be there, and it's kind of a fun night. The Stingers are fun in general. But those are a couple of things we talked about at the Historical Society. EDC Board Planning Session, that was, it was a lengthy deal, and we set some goals and so forth, but it's all kind of, it's about, I think we started at 9, got done about 1:30, so it got to be a little long for me. And I think we set some good goals on some good targets.
Commissioner Nissen, may I add, there's, for public information too, myself and Commissioner Gardner is involved in that as well. And we had an in-person meeting, which was really nice to have.
Yes, it was.
That
Yes,
worked
it
out,
was.
good exchange of information.
Yeah.
It wasn't a long meeting, and after a while, it gets.
But I think it was worthwhile, and I think we set some goals that we can legitimately move forward with. Woodland Centers, we had actually a meeting of the the Woodland Centers and the counties own some homes for mental health folks that can't afford more housing. And we just met to discuss that, and we're going to have a tour of that for the commission. We're all, by the way, I believe, on that committee. So sometime this summer for the new folks, that we'll have a tour of some of those homes. Other than that, Chippewa River is working on an application for one watershed, one plan, and moving forward with that. And I think we've sent a request for proposal to several contractors who helped put it together. And what do they call them? I can't think of them. But that's, there were like 5 that helped others, and so we talked about the qualities of each of those contractors, and there was a couple that didn't come up to standards according to some of the folks that have been through it. So we sent out a proposal to 4 or 5 of those consultants is the word I'm searching for, and they will send us their proposals, and then we'll make a decision based on that. That's all I have.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for the updates, and remind me, I'm not a member of the Humane Society, or of the Historical Society, but I want to be, so
Well,
bug me about it. Yeah,
It's actually not that unreasonable of a number.
Right.
Unless, I think it's, I'd have to get you the
Sure.
price points, but,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Commissioner Anderson?
Let's see, I had about 6 or 7 meetings. Most of them were fairly routine. One that I thought was kind of interesting on JD 17, it was a drainage authority meeting. There's a bunch of farmers or landowners that are proposing to put in kind of a wetland restoration type project. I think it could affect roughly about 1,000 acres. It's kind of up on the top end of ditch system on JD 17, and so they're going to kind of abandon a portion of the ditch, and then they're going to reroute some drainage lines. Oops, sorry. So they're going to reroute some drainage lines, and it's just I think it's a good project that they'll be doing there just to kind of restore some wetlands and stuff. So let's see. Yeah, I think that's about, we also had the Egg Expo out at the Civic Center on April 9th and 10th, and then I just sat there for a few hours handing out brochures for the Drug Force Coalition booth that was there. I guess that's about it for me.
Commissioner Anderson, may I add, you're also on a county extension.
Yes, yep. Yeah, I'll say that. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it or
Oh,
not,
yeah,
but
okay, I was
They
thinking
do
you'd-
have, they did pick the Farmer of the Year type award, and that's going to be announced in August at Farm Fest. I think it's going to be presented. So I don't know if we can mention the name yet. or
I don't
not.
think so either.
We'll wait. We'll let, maybe that committee can do it. I don't
Okay.
know.
Spoiler alert.
What,
Yeah.
one thing I was going to add too, though, it was Kathy Peterson. She's also on that committee, and she's a full-time member, a voting member, but she's also been the secretary for the committee for approximately how many years, may I ask?
Probably 25.
Wow, great experience. Anyway, that was her last meeting, if I understand right. So they spent some time talking about her and thanking her so much for all her time and energy and what she's done for the county extension.
Now she should be a community appointment now.
I was kind of going to ask her, is she gonna join? I mean, you would be a natural to be on that.
We're full board right now.
Okay, well, moving on. Commissioner Emdek.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had 2 Highway 23 meetings this month. One was to talk about project priorities up and down the Highway 23 corridor. It's part of the Highway 23 Coalition. And then last week, the Legislative Committee met to talk about initiatives or efforts to advance legislation that would enhance road construction and bridge construction. That was on the 15th. We had I went to a zoning viewing, the ones we just approved a few minutes ago. Middle Fork Watershed met on the 12th. On the 13th, we had the Baker Fishbach Zoom meeting, the town hall meeting, and I took part in that. the North Fork of the Crow River met on the 14th. I think I got them mixed, turned around. And then we also had a one watershed, one plan meeting. So I had kind of a busy month. Last Friday was the Association of Minnesota Counties Board meeting, and I'll ask you to mark a date of June 11th for our district meeting. It'll be somewhere in Chippewa County. They're still looking for the venue so that they can do the proper spacing. And this will be an in-person meeting. This will be the first, all the district meetings
Perfect.
have been decided that they're going to be in person. What they're going to do then is they're going to have one extra meeting at the very end that will be Zoom for those that don't, and it'll be a statewide. For anybody who didn't feel comfortable going to a district meeting in person, they'll be able to, it's kind of a catch-all meeting at the very end. But I think it kind of signals a move to starting to regather in person. Last night, the Prairie Woods Environmental Learning Center met, and they too decided that at our next meeting, we're going to meet in person. I think we did a poll, and virtually everybody on the board has already been vaccinated, and according to CDC guidelines, we should be able to gather. So it's good to see those things starting to come back to some normalcy. And then yesterday was also a Zoom meeting with Representative Baker set up a Zoom meeting. It was a broadband meeting between LTD and members of the committee, and Kevin Byer from Federated Communications was also a part of it. And there's a lot of work to be done. We have, I think, 87 counties in the state of Minnesota will be looking to, if they can, use ARP money for expanding broadband, but there's still a lot of questions out there on how we approach it. So I thought it was a productive meeting. We didn't make any decisions, but maybe had a better understanding of some of the mechanics that take place, for the broadband. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you for the update. I'll just run through my stuff real quick. As you have probably noticed that I've been involved in several of the other meetings you've been involved. I've had one meeting with Prairie Lakes Youth Program. It was a Zoom meeting concerning the new hire. And I'm looking forward to our meeting that we're going to have for Prairie Lakes Youth Program tomorrow morning for our board meeting. And it's going to be at the airport meeting room in person. And we'll get a chance to meet in person our new hire. I had a CCT meeting that I chaired, and these are quarterly meetings, and we talked about a new technology. It's a collection technology program, fairly expensive, but working with the state and maybe starting to pilot that with the state and exploring going into that touch-free type of credit cards and stuff like that for using on some of the buses, as well as other aspects of that technology. And I guess that pretty much ends that. Commissioner Nissen.
I have an event that I should have mentioned earlier, but for those of you who are married or have girlfriends, the Advocacy and Inclusion Matter, AIM, is having a rose sale. The last day you can order online or in person with a board member is 2 days from now, April 22nd. So if you're thinking of being a nice husband, boyfriend, whatever, significant other, roses are a half dozen $10 or a whole dozen for $20. And you can order them in red roses or multicolored roses.
And how do they order then?
You can do it online, aimwcm.org/shop. I probably should take this off so I can, www.aimwcm.org/shop, SHOP, or any board member. And the pickup day will be May 20th, so you'll have to wait for the roses for a while. At the at the former Candy Mall, former J.C. Penney entrance. So
You can drive up and pick them up.
I
Okay,
thought that would, I will be helping distribute. I don't know if I'm not on their board, but they keep asking me to do that.
you're one busy guy. Thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I think
Important
it's
announcement.
worthwhile, and they do some great things, and they have a picture on their website of, which I recognized a couple of folks that go to our church, so it's a good organization.
Okay, thank you. At this point, I'd like to call on Commissioner, or Administrator Kleindahl, and you have a resolution number 2021-23 that you wish to share with us.
I do. Logan, I'm assuming we got our person on the line? Okay, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, this is Resolution 2021-23. This is a closed session request for, because of attorney-client privilege discussion on potential litigation between Canterbury County and a former county employee. Whereas Canterbury County is currently involved in potential litigation between Canterbury County and a former county employee, and whereas outside counsel is representing Canterbury County in a potential litigation matter, whereas pursuant to Minnesota statute, the Canterbury County Board by resolution may close a meeting to discuss strategies to resolve potential litigation. A meeting is permitted to be closed by attorney-client privilege, Minnesota statute 13D.05 subdivision 3B. Whereas pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D.05 subdivision 1D, this matter is being closed as permitted by attorney-client privilege, thus it does not need to be recorded. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Canterbury County Board of Commissioners hereby closes the Canterbury County Board meeting on April 20th, 2021 in order to discuss with legal counsel the legal options of potential litigation dated at Wilmer, Minnesota, this 20th day of April. So I would need a motion if you wish to close.
Okay. Commissioner Gardner,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to adopt the resolution and close the meeting.
a motion by Commissioner Gardner to approve resolution number 2021-23. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
A second by Commissioner Nissen. Any further comments or questions? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Pass unanimously.
Mr. Chair, then at 1 o'clock, when we reconvene for the road and bridge meeting, we would adjourn this meeting at that meeting, and then we'll come for the public who is watching. And so those who are not parties to this discussion will need to exit the room.
Okay, and thank you, everybody.